Good morning, Mr. Simpson. You understand you're still under oath?
Yes, sir.
Other than talking to your lawyers, did you do anything to prepare for today's session of the deposition?
No.
Did you review any materials?
No. You mean from yesterday to today?
Yes.
No.
Okay. Let me clarify a couple things we discussed yesterday. When Phil Van Adder received your black bag, where did he get it from you?
Are you talking about the 13th of June?
Yes, Mr. Baker.
They had me handcuffed and the bag kept falling off my shoulder, so I guess that's where he got it.
We're now talking about June 13th, correct?
Yes.
Did you drive down to the police station?
Yes.
With whom?
Philip Van Adder.
You were handcuffed at your house?
Yes.
And when you went into his car, I take it, or some LAPD vehicle, you took your bag with you?
Yes.
Okay. And the bag was in the back seat with you?
I believe it was in the trunk.
Trunk?
Yes.
When you arrived at the police station, did you take the bag out and take it up with you?
No.
And later on that evening, when you got back to Rockingham, Mr. Van Adder delivered the bag back to you?
Correct.
And so you didn't have the bag in your possession for several hours?
Correct.
Okay. And why did you take the bag with you down to the police station?
Well, I didn't want to leave it in my driveway.
You could have left it in your house?
They wouldn't let me in my house.
Okay. That's the only reason?
Yes.
Did, now the clothing that you took with you to Mr. Kardashian's house in Mr. Kardashian car was contained in the black bag that we discussed yesterday?
Yeah, and I think I might have taken another change. I'm not sure of that, but I seem to remember that before we went, that I put some clothes in a bag.
The same black bag?
No, no.
A different bag?
Yeah.
So you remember now taking two bags?
No, I don't remember. It just seems to me, I don't know if they brought it the next day. It just seems to me I brought something to put on the next day.
Just wait a second. And I object to the preamble of the question you remember now, because that's exactly what he testified to yesterday.
How many bags did you take with you to Mr. Kardashian's car en route to his house?
My black bag.
And do you remember any other luggage that you took with you?
No, but I just seem to have a memory that I did bring some clothes with me, and I just don't recall if I carried a bag. I don't think I carried a bag. I think I just had my black bag, but it just seems to me that I carried a change of clothes.
Were all the clothes that you carried with you to Mr. Kardashian's house put in this black bag?
I don't recall.
You think you might have just set them in the car, you mean?
Yeah, I may have had a suit bag or something. I just don't recall.
Okay. And do you recall specifically, withdrawn, you said yesterday you think some other clothes may have been delivered to you while you were there.
I know they were.
And were they delivered in a suitcase?
I don't know.
Okay. When you went into the Bronco on the 17th, Mr. Cowling's Bronco, you testified yesterday that you took the black bag with you, correct?
Yes.
And do you remember if it had any clothes in it?
If it did, or whatever was in there from when I got there Monday, socks, maybe underwear, something.
And you were taking out some of those socks and underwear during the course of the week, right?
No, I don't recall that. I think they bought me clothes. I think from my house they brought me a lot of stuff.
So whatever socks and underwear were in the black bag when you arrived at Kardashian remained in the bag and were in the bag when you took it into the Bronco, is that right?
Correct.
Did you take any other clothes with you other than what might have been in the black bag when you went into Mr. Cowling's Bronco?
No.
Did you have him do so?
No.
Were there any other clothes in the Bronco?
I didn't look around really to see. They weren't mine if they were.
When we were off the record, we distributed copies of Exhibits 4A, B, C, and D, and Exhibit 5 that we referred to yesterday on the record. I now would like to show you a photograph. 3 photographs which we will mark. Are they all copies? Yeah, we'll make one packet. Let's just do 6. What's the next exhibit? Yes. Which we'll now mark as the next exhibit in order, which will be 7, and we'll mark it 7A, B, and C. And I'll show you the original photographs that we have, and I'll distribute Xerox copies of these to counsel. Mr. Simpson, looking at the photos which we've marked as Exhibit 7 collectively, do you recognize what is depicted in the photos?
Yes.
What is it?
A type of cell phone.
Was this the cell phone that you owned and used in June of 1994?
It could be.
And do you recognize the telephone number? 613-3232?
I believe that was my number.
Yeah. And yesterday, you, well, let me withdraw. Is this the cell phone that was in the black bag that you took with you to Chicago?
If this is mine, yes.
Okay. Do you have any reason to believe it's not yours?
Well, I know that, I don't, no, I don't.
Does it look like yours?
The type that I use, yes.
And does this cell phone appear to be the one that you would have mounted in the Bronco or mounted in the Bentley when you drove in the car?
This type of phone, yes.
And you were able to use it outside of the automobiles as well, right?
Yes.
And you said it had a battery pack that was attached to it when you used it outside of the car, correct?
And inside of the car.
And inside the car.
Yes.
Do you see the battery pack there, by the way?
No.
Is it clear to you then that neither of the 2 battery packs that you mentioned yesterday appears in these photographs?
True.
And do you know where those battery packs are?
I would imagine in AC's Bronco.
Did you remove the battery pack from the cell phone at any time while you were driving in Mr. Calling's Bronco?
I've removed numerous battery packs from mine, I guess AC's. I think the police officers gave us a few of them. Yes.
And you were using additional battery packs on your cell phone?
Yes, they kept giving them because the phone kept going dead, and I think the police officers were giving us battery packs to get the phone alive again.
Okay. In June of 1994, how many telephones did you have in Rockingham?
I don't know.
How many telephone lines did you have?
1, 2. I don't have a rotary phone.
You had phones in various rooms throughout
Yes.
the house?
Yes.
Were they all operable?
I would imagine so. Yeah.
How did the police, by the way, provide you with battery packs while you were in the Bronco?
Through AC. I'm sure it's all on, the police had that all. AC, I guess AC was going back and forth, and I was in my driveway. And
While you were at Rockingham?
yes.
Okay. Okay, give me the next photos. Okay. Oh, let me see them. What's next? Let me see them. Let me see the photos. Those now. Did you have a recollection that you were out in that Bronco about 8 hours on the 17th of June?
No.
Can you estimate how long you were out in the Bronco?
No.
You don't have a clear recollection of those events?
No. Not time-wise, no.
Did you take any Xanax?
No.
Have you ever taken Xanax?
You don't have to answer that. You answered that yesterday.
Are you under any medication today?
Yes.
Which medication?
Zolfazolidine and Motrin.
Your blood was taken on June 13, correct?
Correct.
From the police?
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen a report from the LAPD that showed traces of marijuana in your blood?
No.
Are you aware that there is such a report?
Don't answer that.
No.
Did you smoke any marijuana on the 12th of June?
No.
Did you smoke any marijuana on the 11th of June?
No.
Did you smoke any marijuana 1 week before June 12, 1994?
No.
Did you take any drugs during that week?
No. Other than other than Motrin.
What medications did you take on June 10, 11, or 12?
Motrin.
You have a clear memory of that?
I always take Motrin.
Every day?
Yes.
How often?
In the morning, sometimes late in the day if I'm in pain.
And you were taking Motrin on a regular basis in June of 1994?
Correct.
Did you take any other kind of drugs or medication on June 12?
No.
Cocaine?
No.
Methamphetamine?
No.
Were you a cocaine user in June of 1994?
Don't answer
No.
that.
No.
The answer is you were not?
No.
In May of 1994?
No.
That's enough. Don't answer any more questions.
Did
about
you
that.
take cocaine at any time in the period January 1994 through June 12, 1994?
I instruct
No.
you not to.
Did you take
Am I a potted plant?
did you take any kind of amphetamines during that period of time?
No.
Did you take any kind of illegal narcotics at any time in June, in the period January to June of 1994?
No.
Did you take any, did you use cocaine in the year 1993?
Don't
No.
answer that.
No. I'm sorry.
Did you use any kind of illegal narcotics in the year 1993?
Don't answer that.
You refuse to answer?
Yes, he refuses to answer.
You said yesterday that you were concerned about possible drug and/or alcohol abuse by Nicole Simpson. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay, did you and she participate in using narcotics in 1994?
No.
Did you see her do so?
No.
At any time did you see her do so?
Don't answer that, OJ.
I think the answer was no. You have any information whatsoever that in 1994 Nicole Simpson Brown abused or took illegal narcotics?
Yes.
And what is that information?
She told me on one occasion, and people that I talked to that was in the intervention mentioned that it came up in the intervention.
What intervention?
Intervention for Faye Rusnick.
When did you first talk to anyone about that intervention?
After, maybe when I was in jail, but I think more when I got out, but possibly when I was in jail
Well,
also.
prior to the time you went to jail, you had not spoken to anyone about that intervention, correct?
Wrong.
Who did you speak to about it?
I was told about it by Ron Fishman, and I talked to Christian Reichard about it.
When did the
Sorry, you talked to?
Christian Reichard.
Thank you.
when did the intervention occur?
I gather during the week of June 6th.
Okay. And was Nicole part of the intervention?
I believe she called it, or she caused it to be called.
What was the purpose of the intervention?
I gathered that Faye Rusnick was a little out of control, and Nicole was concerned.
Nicole told you that she did this, correct?
No,
She didn't tell you that she had called the intervention?
no,
Did she tell you that she participated in it?
no,
Did she ever discuss with you the intervention?
no.
And how did you find out what you just said a moment ago?
Originally, Ron Fishman told me, and then Christian Reichard told me.
The conversations with Fishman and Reichard occurred before Nicole's murder?
Yes.
Okay. And when you heard about the intervention from Ron Fishman and Christian Reichard, did you speak to Nicole about that?
No.
And did you speak to anyone about that?
Other than the two of them?
Yes.
No.
You said that Nicole told you that she had used some drugs, illegal drugs. When was that?
In January
Of what year?
'94.
And was that the first time that she told you that?
That she was using it? Well, yeah. Yeah, I mean, what do you mean concerning '94? In '93 she told me too, but we weren't together in '93. But '94, something happened in '94, and she called me in New York and told me about it.
Yeah, let's just focus for now on 1994.
Mm-hmm.
When is the first time in 1994 that she told you that she was using drugs?
Somewhere near the middle to end, I believe, of January. Could have been the beginning of February, but I think it was the middle or the end of January.
What did she say to you?
She called me. She was crying.
What did she say?
She was in trouble.
What else did she say?
She was in trouble. She did something. She thought she was going to get in some trouble. She needed my help.
What did she say that she had done?
No, I'm going to object at this time.
Thank you.
Question. I'm going to ask to see you. I want to speak to you, Mr. Petrocell.
Thank you.
Excuse me. Yeah.
We are going off the record now, and the time is
Can
approximately...
I speak to you guys?
Yep.
We are back on the record now, and the time is approximately 9:58.
Mr. Simpson, let me go back to the intervention that you described involving Faye Resnick. Okay? You said you spoke to Ron Fishman about it and Christian Reichart, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Tell me what Fishman told you about the intervention.
Told me that there was an intervention. Did I hear? And I said no. And he described to me that they had evidently called an intervention. And there was a lot of people angry with one another. Faye was put into a center, rehab center, and there was a lot of anger among the various people involved.
Did Fishman tell you this?
Yes.
And did he attend it?
No.
And how did he find this out?
You'd have to ask him.
Did he tell you how he knew?
No.
Did you do anything about that information once you heard it?
I immediately no.
At any time?
Other than talk to Christian to see how he was faring about it. Other than that, no.
And who is Christian Reichart?
He was had some relationships with Faye Rustin.
And you called him up?
Yes.
And after hearing from Fishman about the intervention?
Yes.
And tell me what you and he discussed, that is you and Reichart.
Well, I asked how he was doing, and he told me he was hanging in there, and he sort of described what happened.
Okay. Was the subject of the intervention essentially Faye's problems?
I'm sure the intervention was, yes.
Okay. Did you do anything after talking to Reichart?
When did I do anything?
Relative to the intervention?
About the intervention?
No.
Okay. And was that the last time you discussed that before the time you were incarcerated with anyone?
As best I can recall, yes.
Okay. And you never discussed it with Nicole, correct?
No.
Now, did you, in your conversation with Fishman, was there any discussion about Nicole?
Yes.
Relate that discussion.
That Christian and Nicole had an argument because of how, I guess, the intervention came about.
Okay. You mean the way it was being handled?
I guess so, yes.
And that was reported to you by Fishman, right?
Yes.
And was there anything else said about Nicole in your conversation with Fishman?
Not that I recall.
Okay. And in your conversation with Reichart, was there any discussion of Nicole?
Yes.
And what was that discussion?
In part, he was upset with her for not letting him know what had been going on
With Faye?
with Faye, and in part that she didn't call him and the fact that they were letting it go. And I guess it was he who really forced the intervention at that
Christian?
point. Yes.
What did Christian tell you what that was going on with Faye Resnick? That he was upset with Nicole for not responding to sooner?
That she was heavily involved in cocaine and was doing it in Nicole's presence regularly, and that Nicole never alerted him to it.
Now, this is something that was told to you by Christian Reichardt?
Correct.
You didn't witness this yourself, right?
No.
You've never witnessed Faye Resnick taking cocaine, correct?
Cocaine, no.
Okay. And in 1994, did you ever see Faye Resnick take any sort of illegal narcotic?
Illegal?
Yeah.
I would say I would know, so I don't know what's illegal.
You ever see her abuse drugs, witness her abusing drugs in the year 1994?
I felt I did, yes.
And did you personally witnessed it?
I felt I did, yes.
When was that?
In March,
Where was that?
at a restaurant called Toscana.
And who was
Sorry, I can't hear.
A
Toscana.
restaurant called Toscana.
And who was present there?
Nicole, Christian Reichardt, and Faye.
And did you say anything to Faye about this?
Yes.
And what did you say?
Told her she was out of line doing what she was doing, and it was
Referring
wrong.
to what?
Taking all the pills she was taking and drinking.
And what did she say?
She argued a little bit, but the other two people sided with me, and they took the pills from her.
Now, other than that incident, did you ever witness her in 1994 abusing drugs in your presence?
Not with my eyes, no.
Okay. Other than that incident and what Mr. Reichardt told you, did you ever obtain any other information in 1994 before Nicole's murder that Faye was abusing drugs?
Other than comments Nicole made,
Nicole would make comments to you time to time about that?
yes.
To what effect?
That she had drug problems and that she was
She being
abused.
whom?
Faye Resnick.
And what was your reaction to that?
It just had nothing to do with me, and I really didn't spend that much time with Faye, so it wasn't a part of my life. It was her, their problems, not mine.
I see. Do you know what the intervention consisted of, by the way?
No.
Do you know the details of it?
Other than what was told to me by Christian, no.
Do you know where it took place?
No.
Do you know what happened after the intervention?
When I
with Faye?
gathered, Christian took her to some place.
Do you know where?
No.
And did you ever see Faye there?
No.
Or call her there?
No.
Do you know what date Faye went there?
I believe it was the middle of the week of the 6th.
June 6th?
Yeah, the middle of that week, sometime during that week. Few days before Nicole's death.
You did not speak to Faye Resnick at any time from the moment she went into the treatment center?
No.
When was the last time that you spoke to her?
Either Sunday or Monday of that week. That would have been whatever those dates were. Sunday or Monday preceding the 12th.
Spoke to Faye, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
Let me have the calendars.
Relax.
Okay, I'll have to use this. Let me show you as the next exhibit in order a calendar. Mark it as Exhibit 8,
And what do you want him to look at particularly here?
June. First of all, I want him to identify it.
Well, I'll stipulate it's 1994 month at a glance, but who's...
Yeah, I want to go over the calendar.
Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Do you
Can we-
have copies for everybody?
Yes. Want to hand these out? Make
What
sure
exactly is Exhibit 8?
it's not the same calendar. It's really pissing me off. Make sure it's the same thing. No, it's not. They're different calendars. Yeah, two different calendars. I don't have copies. You have to find copies of this calendar. Okay. I have before you, I'm getting copies circulated. I have before you what we've marked as Exhibit 8. You recognize this document?
Well, it depicts a calendar.
Excuse me?
It depicts portions of a calendar. I
Now,
believe.
is this your calendar?
I think it does. I think it is a cop. I believe so. Yes. I mean, it's not my calendar, but it picks somehow. I guess if I put it together, it would be.
Right, you have
Would
to put the
depict
two
mine.
pages together where the spirals are. That's how it was
Yeah.
Xeroxed. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it is mine.
Now, this is a calendar that you maintained yourself?
I never really had a calendar. No, Kathy would fax me a page, or whatever was coming up. She'd send me a page with what's on it, and that was it. So I never had a calendar.
You
no.
didn't carry a calendar like a, sort of like this one, month at a glance, in your bag with you, right? Or on
No.
your person?
No.
And Kathy Randa would maintain your calendar?
Yeah.
And is any of the handwriting on here your handwriting? If you, let's take a look at the page for June, for example.
I don't believe so.
Okay, and do you know whose handwriting is on here?
I believe it's Kathy's.
Okay, there seems to be different handwriting on these pages.
I'm not sure it's different handwriting,
Well-
it's different pens.
And do you recognize all of the handwriting on June of 1994? Is that of Kathy Randa?
This is the page he's looking at, so
No, but
look at
that's
the-
part of June. That's part of June.
Oh, sure it is, I'm sorry.
I don't even recognize it as Kathy's. I'm just assuming it's Kathy's.
Okay,
I
you-
wouldn't recognize Kathy's handwriting if you wrote it down and showed it to me.
You would not recognize her
No,
handwriting?
I
Okay.
never really paid attention to her handwriting.
But none of this is your handwriting, is that right?
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. Did you maintain any other kind of appointment book or calendar yourself, like one of those computerized, or any kind for that matter?
No,
Nothing?
no.
So anytime you needed to know what your appointments were, Kathy would send you something, is that right?
Well, normally she, had always, in my travel folder or whatever, would have whatever I got to do that week or whatever my month looked like. Yeah.
Okay. And did you maintain a calendar at home,
No,
in your office or anywhere?
no.
Okay, now going back to the calendar for June, okay? And looking at it, can you tell me what's the last day that you spoke to Faye Resnick?
Here's it.
It was either Sunday or Monday, the 5th or the 6th, one of those days, I'm not sure.
Of June, correct?
Yes,
And do you recall what the purpose of that call was?
it wasn't a call.
You met with her?
No, she was at Nicole's house.
And that's before the intervention, to the best of your knowledge, right?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, it was definitely before the intervention.
So you were at Nicole's house, what day now?
Either Sunday or Monday.
Now we're talking June 5 or June 6, correct?
Yes,
And that's Nicole's house, you mean 875 Bundy, right?
yes.
Who else was there?
I don't. Justin may have been with me.
I'm sorry.
Justin may have been with me, and I didn't go in the house. So, well, no, I didn't go in the house that day. So, I don't know who was in the house.
I see you stayed outside,
Yes.
Where?
On this day, in the front.
front of the house.
Yes.
Okay. And by the way, is there a buzzer at the front that you could ring the doorbell?
Yes.
And was that operable?
As far as I knew, yes.
Okay. And was there one in the back?
No.
There was no buzzer in the back?
No.
Could you enter the back?
If they opened the garage, you could.
Okay. And was there another back entrance besides the garage?
Not that I know of.
Was there a back gate, for example?
What do you mean, to the property?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And did that have a buzzer?
No.
How would you get in through the back gate if you wanted to?
Somebody would have to open it.
Was it locked?
I would think so, yes.
Okay. So if you came in through the back gate, you couldn't get in unless you had a key?
Yes.
And on the front gate, you would have to buzz somebody, right?
Yes.
Okay. And then
Or have a key.
Or have a key. And then
Yeah.
there was the garage in the back, right?
Yes.
And on this occasion, did you buzz to gain entry to the property?
Yes.
And did you come alone?
I may have been with Justin.
And what was your purpose in going there?
Get the dogs.
What dogs?
Actually get Chachi.
That's your dog?
Yes.
Okay. And then take the dog back in the car and leave, right?
Yes.
And when you buzz the buzzer in the front there, is there like a voice box where you can talk and be heard?
Yes.
And you identified yourself?
No,
They just buzzed and you opened the door and went through?
no.
Well, tell me how it happened.
I buzzed and Faye came out.
She came all the way out to the front gate,
Yes,
opened it up,
yes.
and then you and Justin went in?
No,
Justin stayed in the car?
no.
Well, tell me what happened.
The dog ran out.
Out of the gate
Yes,
and ran where?
off.
What did you do?
I went one way, and Faye went up Bundy, and I went one way, and then I drove back. I walked back, got in my car, and started driving, and caught the dog in the alley across on the other side of Bundy in an alley, and then brought the dog back to the front of the house.
And what did you do then?
I got the dog back on her property,
How did you do that?
grabbed it, and brought it, back on the property
And where did you bring the dog?
to the inside the front gate.
Okay. And who did you give the dog to?
Nobody.
Okay. Was the gate, when you went inside the front gate, was it open?
Yes, it wasn't closed. Yes,
So you could push it open without
Yeah.
a key?
yes,
And you entered the property
yes,
and with the dog?
yes.
And what did you do when you entered the property?
The dog ran, and I went looking for the other dog.
And did you find the dog?
Yes,
Where?
down below the side of her house.
I mean, the side alleyway?
Yes,
Okay. And you walked down that alleyway, and did you go down the stairs?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Saw the dog. How far did you go down the alley?
I'm not sure.
What did you do then?
I got the dog and kind of shooed it to come with me.
And then what did you do?
Walked the dog back to the front gate.
And then what?
Faye was at the front gate at that point in time, and I got the dog to the truck and put him in and left.
Okay. Did you spend time talking to Faye at the front gate?
Faye was babbling. Faye was, in my judgment, totally plastered. So she was babbling, yes.
What was she saying?
I couldn't even tell you. It didn't make any sense to me.
She wasn't coherent to you, is that what you're saying?
In my opinion, no.
Did you spend time trying to talk to her?
No.
Did you do anything to, were you concerned at all for her safety?
No.
Okay. You got the dog and then went back in the car?
Yes.
Did you talk to anyone else on that occasion?
No.
For example, did you talk to Nicole?
No.
Do you know if she was home?
I thought I saw her at the door when I came back with the dog. I think she was standing in the doorway.
Front doorway?
I believe so. I'm not sure. She could have been up on the balcony looking down.
And you said nothing to her?
No, because I just saw her as I was coming,
Did you?
driving up, and then she wasn't there. I believe. I don't, other than, hey, the dog got out or something maybe, but nothing relevant to anything.
Did you gesture or wave to her?
Possibly. I don't know. I mean, we acknowledged each other, but,
You can't recall any conversation of substance
No.
of any kind with Faye Resnick, is that right?
no,
Okay. Was that the last time you were at the Bundy property before Nicole's
I
death?
believe so, yes.
Were you bleeding on that occasion?
Not that I know of.
Did you have any cuts that you knew of?
Not that I was aware of.
Were you wearing any Band-Aids?
Not that I was aware of.
When you were looking for the dog, what's the other dog you were looking for?
I was going to get Chachi and Cato. A dog called Cato was one that got out.
Well, the dog that got out onto Bundy was
Cato.
Was Cato.
Yes.
And you put that dog in the Bronco, right?
No,
What car were you driving?
Bronco.
Bronco. And you first got, you retrieved Cato, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
What did you do with Cato when you retrieved him?
As I said, I put him back on the property.
On the property. And then
Yes.
you went and got Chachi, right?
Yes.
Now, when you went to get Chachi, you said you walked a little bit down the property, right?
Yes.
Did you go all the way down to the back gate?
I don't recall.
What's your best recollection?
I don't have a best recollection. It is something I do often.
What is that?
Pick up the dogs. And this one didn't stand out any more than any other time.
I'm sorry, Mr. Simpson, I can't hear you.
There is no question anyway.
Well,
He
you're
said,
talking, I can hear.
I understand.
Okay.
But, if he wants to give a monologue against his lawyer's advice,
Well, I especially want to hear things against his lawyer's advice.
yeah. Okay. We've marked that calendar as Exhibit 8. While we're on the subject of calendars, this one here is Exhibit 8, right? Okay, which one is that? I'm going to show you another calendar, which we'll mark as Exhibit 9. This is your copy, Mr. Baker, if you want one.
oh, I'm sorry, thank you.
This is my copy, right?
Oh, this is my copy. Yes.
This is the original one.
Thanks, Dave.
Can you take a look at what we've marked as Exhibit 9? And can you tell me if this appears to be a copy of a calendar for you for the year 1994?
Yes, it appears to be.
And is this a calendar that you maintain?
As I told you before, I didn't maintain any calendar.
Do you recognize the handwriting?
Yeah, it pretty much looks like what's normally on my calendars.
To the best of your knowledge, do you think this calendar was one that was maintained by Kathy Randa?
Possibly.
Okay. This calendar is different from the Exhibit 8 calendar. There are different entries for the various dates. Do you know why that is?
I can only surmise
What is your best understanding of that?
that normally this would be, looks more like what she would have printed to send to me. The other one looks more like something that she would maintain herself. Because I wouldn't want to see all that other stuff that's on the calendar.
So Exhibit 9 appears to be a copy of the kind of information that she would transmit to you, correct?
Yeah, if she did this page and I was taking some trips this week, she would put this in my travel folder, this, copy a page like this and put it in my travel folder.
So you would take a copy of the page with the days involved in your travel, correct?
Yeah, virtually, yes.
It would be literally a Xerox copy?
Yes,
And you put it in that black bag we discussed yesterday?
yes.
Okay. What do you call that again?
My grip.
Your grip, okay.
Yeah.
Are you aware of any other calendars that were maintained for you other than these two?
No.
The year 1994?
No.
Are you aware of whether Kathy Randa shredded any documents in 1994?
No.
Do you know if she did?
I hope so.
You told her to?
No.
Why do you say you hope so?
At one point, once the trial began, everybody, all the lawyers were given shredders, and I believe Marcia Clark talked also in court that they were all shredding everything, and all our lawyers were shredding everything because the media was going through the garbage cans to get story material. So it was discussed in the courtroom at one point.
It was discussed in the courtroom that documents should be shredded?
No, that you shred all garbage and all stuff that once you looked at it or whatever, you got rid of it and shredded it. And I believe the prosecution said they were doing the same thing.
You're referring to documents generated in the course of the case, you mean?
Yes.
What about documents at the Brentwood office where Kathy Randa worked?
What about it?
Do you know whether she ever shredded any documents there?
No.
Did you ever tell her to do so?
No.
Has anyone ever told you that she did so?
No.
Have you ever acquired any information that Randa shredded any documents after
What do you
June
mean by
12th?
documents? Garbage?
No, not things already thrown away. Things that were in their desks or your drawers or cabinets.
I think I saw where things were being shredded at our office, yes.
How did you see that?
They were talking about it in court.
Who was they?
I don't know, it was an issue in court one day.
Did you discuss that issue with Kathy Randa?
No.
Did you tell your lawyers what to tell Kathy to shred?
No.
And do you know what Kathy shredded?
No.
Do you know whether she shredded any documents relating to Nicole?
No.
You don't know one way or the other?
No.
Do you know whether she shredded any documents relating to the 1989 incident involving spousal abuse?
No.
Do you know anything about that one way or the other?
No.
Do you know whether she destroyed any documents?
No.
What does that say? Do you know whether Kathy Randa shredded any documents that the prosecutors had subpoenaed and requested to be produced in court?
No.
Do you know whether anyone told her to do so?
No.
Before you were incarcerated, did you destroy any documents?
No.
Or ask other people to dispose of, discard, or shred any documents?
No.
After you were incarcerated, did you ask anybody to see that certain documents or materials were destroyed, discarded, or shredded?
No.
And do you know whether that occurred?
No.
Looking at your calendar again, Exhibit 8, let's say.
Which one?
Take a look at Exhibit 8.
Is that it? Which is, oh,
I can't, it's also, you could look at the trial exhibit number for the criminal case. It was Exhibit 599. Just make sure you have the right one. And look at June again, or May and June. Can you tell me prior to, well, let me back up. The occasion that you described where you retrieved the dogs, what's your, when did that occur, on June 5 or June 6?
I'm not sure.
What's your best
I don't have
understanding?
one.
Excuse me?
I don't have one.
It's one of those 2 days?
Yes.
What time of day?
Afternoon.
Okay. And what was the total amount of time that you believe you were on the Bundy property on that occasion?
I don't know.
Less than a minute?
No.
Less than 5 minutes?
Yes.
Okay. And what was the time before that occasion when you were last at the Bundy property?
What, in the Bundy? In Bundy?
Yes. On the property or in the house?
Okay. I can't figure this out. June 4th.
And prior to June 4th?
I can't tear this thing.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, you can.
Here, tear this.
Wait,
tear
well,
this.
that's the court exhibit. Once you go, I'll try to fix that at the break.
Well, this is May. This is,
June, this way.
well, okay, that's June. I need to get May. We're talking on the property.
Yeah, last time before June 4.
I was definitely there on June 22nd and 23rd.
May?
I mean, May 22nd and May 23rd, and
Both days?
yeah, pretty sure both days. And possibly, I can't really recall, possibly another time during the course of that week. Just briefly, yes.
Excuse me. Where's May 23 on this calendar? What happened on June 4
Oh,
that caused you to be on the property?
I had to look at my son's Nintendo setup.
That was in the house?
Yeah.
And how did you access the property on that occasion?
I came, I blew the horn. Justin was with me. I blew the horn. Nicole opened the garage, and we came up through the garage. went to his room, looked at his setup, and went back down the stairs and went back out the garage and left.
You drove up to the back of the property?
Yeah,
Right in front of the garage?
yeah,
And the garage door is closed?
yeah,
You blew the horn and
Yeah.
the garage door went up?
yeah,
And then you went in?
yeah.
And how long were you there?
Whatever time it took to walk up the stairs, whatever, it took about a minute or two maximum to see the hookup, and then walk back down the stairs, 5 minutes or less.
Now, the stairs that we're referring to are the stairs that are that lead from the inside of the garage up into the home, correct?
Yes,
So we're
yes.
talking about interior stairs.
Yes.
right? And then when you got into the first level of the home, you then went upstairs using interior stairs to the bedroom of
Yes.
your son, correct?
Yes.
And you fixed the Nintendo setup for him, and then
No, I didn't fix it. I needed to see the hookup and how it was arranged and everything. Yes.
okay. Did you
Yeah.
buy him a Nintendo cartridge around that time?
I bought him one later, and I had already bought him whatever the other game is. And there's another one like Nintendo,
Sega?
but not Sega or something. And we were trying to set it up in his room.
You remember the name of the game you bought him?
No.
Okay. And then you came, after you checked out the setup,
Yeah.
what did you then do?
Went and got in my car.
Came right back down the stairs, same
Yeah.
way you came up?
Yeah.
Went out the garage and into the car, is that right?
Yeah.
And drove off?
Yeah.
Okay. And did you converse with Nicole on that occasion?
On the 4th, no.
Was she there?
Yeah.
Did you see her?
No.
How do you know she was home?
Justin ran in her room, and she was in bed, and they were talking. And you have to go by her door of her room to go to Justin's.
Sorry.
You have to go to by the door of her room.
Justin ran in her room and she
Yeah,
was in bed?
yeah, and jumped on the bed, and I heard him talking as I went to his room. You have to walk by her room to get to his room.
Justin came with you,
Yes,
and then he left with you?
yes.
Was there anybody else home with Nicole?
Not that I know of.
Okay. And you didn't speak to Nicole at all?
No. Well, somebody may have been home with Nicole because I saw Faye's car, but I don't know if Faye was there.
You recognized her car?
Yeah,
Where was it parked?
in the back.
What kind of car was it?
I don't know.
You don't remember?
I don't remember, but I know it was her car.
Okay. Nicole then had 2 cars, is that right?
I believe so, yeah.
What were they?
A Ferrari and the truck.
Were they both in the garage?
I don't recall. I don't think so.
Were they parked there on the property?
I don't think so because I was able to pull right up to the garage, so one of them must not have been there.
Is that where she usually parked one of them?
Yes,
Where, outside the garage door?
yes.
And which one was that?
The Jeep,
And the other car, the Ferrari, was always parked in the garage?
yes.
Okay. And when you used to arrive, would you literally turn into the driveway or just park parallel to it?
Turn into it.
Turn into it?
Yeah,
So you would park next to the other Jeep, right?
yeah. You couldn't park parallel. You'd block the alley.
Okay. Now, the last time before June 4, you were at the Bundy property, you said was definitely when?
Well, I was definitely there the 22nd and 3rd, and I believe
22nd and 23rd.
3rd of May, yes. And I believe I could have been there one time during that week.
Okay. What did you do there on the 22nd and 23rd?
22nd, I helped Nicole with something, and we talked. And 23rd, I think I had dinner with him.
Okay, let's start with the 23rd. Tell me about that occasion.
Nicole needed, I think she needed some cough syrup. And the kids were with me, and she called. I believe she called. She went home, I checked on her, and she needed some cough syrup or something. And I went over and we talked. We talked about a few things.
Did you go over there alone?
Yes.
And parked in the same place in the back?
I don't recall.
Which car did you drive?
I don't recall.
And how did you get into the house?
Either I blew if I was in the back and she answered, or she buzzed me in the front. I just don't recall.
You don't remember which way?
No, I don't remember.
Was
which
it
way.
your practice to drive to the front of the house or the back of the house?
I did both, normally depending on where I was coming from. If I was coming from home, normally I went to the back. So, you know, so more than likely it was the back, but I don't recall how I entered the house that time.
And if it was the back, that's the way you would go up, right?
Yeah.
And if it was the front, you would be let in through the front gate, and then you would go right to the front door, right?
Yes.
Okay, now that front door is situated on the property prior to those steps going down the alleyway, right?
Yes.
Okay. So in order to go from the gate to the front door, you don't have to walk down the alleyway and go down the steps and back up again, correct?
True.
Is there any other entrance to the property besides, to the home, besides that garage in the back and the front door that you just described?
And the back gate you were talking about?
Let me start all over again. Is there any other entrance to the Bundy home of Nicole other than the garage and the front door that you just described?
You mean actually to get into the physically inside the house?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if you can, there's a room down there. I don't know if you can, I don't know if it needs a key to get into, but there is a room that is down on that walkway, but I'm not sure if there's if it can be used as an entrance.
You're now talking about the walkway, meaning that side alley, right?
Yes.
And you're saying that if you come down that side alley, there's a door?
There's a room, and I know you can come out of that room. I just don't know if it's a room that you can get into if it's locked. I don't know.
Well, if you were inside the property, you could come out of that room by going out a door to the side alley?
Yes.
I see. And what is that room?
I think she used it as a maid's room.
Maid's room.
Yes.
And it had a door that opened out into the side alley?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. That's a door that you ever used?
No.
Never went in or out that door?
Never went in or out of that room.
Never was in the room?
No.
How do you even know about it?
Because I know it's there. You can't come out. You can't come in from the garage without seeing the room there.
How do you know that it has a door on the other side that goes to the side alley?
Because I've been in the alley with the dogs.
And you've seen that door?
Yes.
And you can look, does the door have a window?
I think it's a glass door. I'm not sure.
You can see
Yeah.
right into the room?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any other ways of accessing the home?
I don't know.
Is there more than
Not that
one?
I know of.
Is there more than one front door?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Did you have any keys to the property?
Not that I know of.
Are you unsure of yourself?
Well, I'm going to object to Megan's time.
In
sorry,
May
I didn't hear
of
you.
1994, did you have any keys to Nicole's property?
None that I knew were Nicole's keys, so
In June of 1994, did you have any keys?
none that I knew
When you
of.
say none that you knew of, do you believe that you had some keys that might have been hers, but you did not know?
I'm sorry, Alex.
No, I don't know at all.
Wait. You're gonna have to repeat the question.
When you say that you had some, what was his prior answer? None that I know of?
Right.
No.
When you say that you had, did not have keys of Nicole that you knew of,
Hmm.
do you have a belief that you had some keys that might have been hers, but you were not sure?
No, I don't know of. I have no knowledge of having any keys to Nicole's house.
At any time?
Well, yes, at some time, yes.
At any time in 1994, did you have any keys to Nicole's house on Bundy?
Not that were my keys, no, but I've had in my possession the keys to her house
Okay, did
in
you-
'94,
I see. And when was that?
numerous times,
Why would you have possession of keys to Nicole's house?
because I stayed at her house a lot, and some nights when I would either walk the dog or run to the store to get something, I'd go out the front door, and I'd use the key to get back in the front door
And where would you get that key?
from her.
You would ask her?
Oh, I'd just grab her key.
Was there a place where you would find the key?
I don't recall. Normally, she keeps a key on her counter, I believe. Counter in the kitchen.
And that key on the counter in the kitchen is the only key that you would have possession of from time to time?
Yes.
Is it a single key?
No, I think it would always was a group of keys.
What were they keys to?
Her car, her house, or whatever.
And which keys would you use to access what locks on what doors?
It was, as far as I knew, it was one key that accessed the gate and the front door.
And same key?
far as I knew, yes.
Worked for both the gate and the front door?
Yes,
And which gate you're referring to?
in front of the house.
And that's a key that you can specifically recall using to enter the front gate and the front door?
In the exit also, yeah.
And the exit,
And to exit,
to lock it behind you?
yeah.
I see. When was the last time you had that key?
I don't know if I took her keys on the week she had pneumonia, so it'd be the week of the 16th. I may have, because I left her house to go get her some cough syrup at Westwood Hole. And I went out the front door and to lock the front door. I may have then.
If you used it on the 16th,
No, the week of the 16th.
the week of
sometime
the
during
16th,
yeah.
would you have then returned it?
Yes,
Did you return it?
yes,
Okay. So after the time that you used the key to go get the cough syrup, is that what you said?
yes,
You never had possession of Nicole's keys?
no,
That was the absolute last time?
yes.
Do you remember whether that key had a key ring?
No. I think it was a bunch of keys. So it was, may have had a key.
Take a 5-minute break.
Yes. That's a good time.
We are going off the record now. We are back on the record now, and the time is approximately 11 o'clock.
Going back to your prior testimony about visiting Bundy on the 22nd and the 23rd, the day that you went and took care of the Nintendo setup was which day? When you went up through the garage into the house?
I believe that was the 4th of,
That was the 4th,
4th
right?
of, yes,
Of June, correct?
yes, I believe so.